All right, for De Moivre's theorem, we need to change this. We got to figure out the angle. We got to figure out R. So to get R, if there were two parts to this complex number, if there's a real and the imaginary part, you'd have to do a squared plus b squared and take the square root. It's only got the one part. So it's just the absolute value. So R is just 125. Just absolute value, because that's what you're finding when you're finding R. Now to get the angle, you got to think about how you would graph this. The real number part is 0, so that's like the x part. This would be 0 minus 125. You'd graph it like 0, comma, negative 125. So that's straight down. We're going straight down 125 units. What's the angle to get straight down? That would be 3 pi over 2. And we're finding the cube roots, which means n equals 3. So on the left, we do k. K starts at 0, and you count up until the number before n. So 0, 1, and 2. Our next part we're going to do is that new angle we're going to call phi, which is theta plus 2 pi k all over n. Theta is 3 pi over 2, so 3 pi over 2 plus 2 pi times 0 is 0, all over n is 3. Plugging in 1, we get 2 pi here, so plus 2 pi all over 3. And then plugging in 2, 2 times 2 pi is 4 pi all over 3. Simplify these. When I simplify, I clear out the fraction. So this denominator of 2, I'm going to multiply by 2, cancel, multiply by 2, multiply by 2. So that's 3 pi plus 0 over 6, which is pi over 2. Multiply by 2, multiply by 2, multiply by 2. So that's 4, 7 pi over 6. That does not reduce. Multiply by 2, multiply by 2, multiply by 2. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11 pi over 6. So that does not reduce. So then we plug in those angles into the rest of De Moivre's theorem, which is you take the nth root of r. So that's the cube root of 125, which is 5. And you just do times cosine and sine. So cosine pi over 2, that's 0, plus I times sine pi over 2 is 1. So distribute your 5 now, multiply out your 5, you get 5i. 7 pi over 6, that's quadrant 3. Over 6, so that's your ring finger if you're doing a finger trick. So it's root 3 over 2 and 1 over 2. And it's quadrant 3, so it's negative, negative. Distribute. And then 11 pi over 6, still the over 6, so still your ring finger, but this time it's quadrant 4. Quadrant 4 is going to be positive, negative. And there's your 3 answers.